guys, how you doing? I am trying to build some new path lights, a request of a designer. So I've dropped it. I'll get another one. I'll get this one as well. I've already machined these little fronts. So they're a little slotted front, and I'll kind of show you how they go together. Essentially, they go onto a normal spike back like that. Right, so this is how the light's actually kind of going to look. So this is the portion that you're going to see sticking out the ground, essentially like this. Obviously this has all got to be finished, etc. yet. The light output's pretty decent, so I will tell you what I'll do. I'm going to grab a test lead and I'll show you what that light output looks like. But yeah, I mean, I've been pretty happy with it so far. There is another spike that goes up the bottom, which let me see if I can find one that's finished. Looking. There's bound to be one here somewhere. There we go. I think this is one. There we go. They're all being finished in green, as you can kind of see on here. So this screws up the bottom. So you can see how tall, well, it's so tall you can't even see it on the screen. So that portion goes into the ground. That portion there goes into the ground. And you just have this bit exposed. It may be, oh, machine's errored out. It may be actually that you end up coming into the ground up to here, because that's where your cable comes out. So the cable goes through the rod and down and out there. Yeah, so that's kind of like our slot, and the light comes out there. What I'll do is I'll temp one up and just show you what the light output looks like, but I mean, I'm pretty pleased with it. So let's turn all the lights off. We'll turn the lathe off as well. So this is just the head. It's not actually on the correct body. You can see it's really bright actually, and it produces a really nice light. At the moment the lens that's meant to go in there isn't in there, but it normally produces a really nice clear light that's basically illuminates quite a wide patch, quite far forward as well. But when you're actually viewing it at the height you would view it at, so you may imagine it's down at knee height, it's completely non-glary because of the way the light actually comes out here, which is actually really useful. So let's get on and show you how these fittings are made. I'll turn that light back on, turn these back on. So when we're building these lights, we actually start with raw materials. So we start with raw aluminium, for instance, on the path light. So this is, excuse me, so this is 1 inch. This is 1 inch aluminium bar. We've got some 10mm. There's also some 15mm which I don't have here, and there's some 10mm hollow rod. So from the 1 inch bar, we machine the top, path light top, which I literally just designed and machined the first one today. So that's just literally a 4mm slot just in the front there. We machine the spike light bottom, so it's the same bottom that's used on the ultra wide spikes, the standard spike lights, etc. So try and make parts as universal as I possibly can. So that's it from the 1 inch bar. From 10mm bar, we machine the hinge, ball joint. So this is the ball joint. And we machine the spike that actually goes into the ground, which is this spike here. It's been powder coated. From 15mm bar, which I don't have here, we machine this hinge, which basically the ball joint goes into, which it's not going to go in by hand by the looks of it, but yeah, normally we sort of, well, I might be able to get it in a minute. Yeah, so we machine that. We then use acrylic and machine from acrylic the lens and also the protection circuit bottom. So if I show you this is the protection circuit. So this body here is actually the another machined part. Then from 10mm hollow rod, we also machine the long rod, which is going to be completely out of shot, but yeah, as you can see, it's quite long. It's 400mm long. Slot in one end, so the cable goes all the way down the rod and then comes out this hole, and then this rod actually screws in. This spike rod actually screws into the bottom here. So if I screw that in, you see what I mean? They screw together. So really, the ground level, so that bit will go all in the ground up to probably either there or, you know, so that the cable's buried below is completely installer's choice. Parts, further parts that are needed. So I've showed you the protection circuit. The protection circuit basically protects the LED from reverse current, or reverse voltage, and overcurrent. Sorry. So most other LED manufacturers out there don't do this sort of thing. If you connect up a constant current light fitting back to front, you'll actually find that it will blow up. So you'll completely ruin the fitting, and I myself don't particularly want returns coming back for fittings that are blown up because someone made a mistake installing them, and I'm sure the installers out there don't want to have to return fittings just because they connected them up the wrong way once. So that solves that issue. So we have our LED board, which just basically plugs into the protection circuit, so essentially just plugs in like that. So, yeah, as I say, it will protect it from reverse voltage and overcurrent. So if you happen to connect it up to like a standard 12-volt supply or something like that, it will not blow up the fitting. Whereas again, you use most other constant current based light fittings, and you connect it up to a standard 12-volt supply, it will blow them up. So this is what this is designed to protect against. And obviously it means by having our LEDs plug in, it means that you can replace the LED later on, which is useful. That's actually made using, we get these made by another company, and then we assemble the printed circuit boards. This is actually a new design. So even though this LED has been configured to the old design, this is going to be a new design that was suggested by 2 electrical contractors. One of the design improvements was that the board's black, because you can effectively, when you're looking down at a spike light, you can see the colour of the board. So black was suggested as one improvement, which, yeah, I completely agree with. It's an easy change to make, so we did that. The other one is that someone suggested doing a error LED. So it's probably hard to see, but on the board I'll use some tweezers to point out the positions. If I can get this, there we go. Right, I'll do this one. So on the board there, this is where the LED sits here. We've got our connection pins 1, 2 and 3. Well, the LED actually only needs this one and this one. This one is actually for our red error LED, so there'll be a 3rd pin going in there, and that tiny little pad just back here is for a little red LED. And then on our protection circuit, we'll change the layout on this so that again there's a 3rd pin in here, and a bit of circuitry to work out whether or not, say if you've got the supply connected to the wrong kind of supply, or it's connected around the wrong way, we want that red error LED to light up, and at least you'll know there's a problem, rather than sort of going, oh well, the light's still working, so you know, we'll carry on. And because I mean, this protection circuit isn't designed to protect the light forever if it's connected to the wrong supply, it's just designed to save you when you're doing the installation. So yeah, so the way these fittings are made, the idea is that everything is replaceable on them. You know, if something was to fail outside of the warranty period, which is 5 years, you'd be able to contact us and say, oh, you know, X part needs replacing, and we'd be able to supply you X part, which is quite useful. So the other parts that go into this, or a couple of the other parts that go into this, is a spring and a brass insert. Well, actually, tell a lie, this brass insert isn't meant to be in this. It's not for this, but the spring certainly is. The spring goes up inside, so just kind of show you how this all kind of roughly goes together. I'm not going to put the actual LED in, and if I can insert this spring in, it's being slightly difficult. Of course, that's always the way when you're putting stuff together. So I won't screw this all in all the way, but just to kind of show you how it kind of looks. We're just trying to sort out the issues with the rotation at the moment, because as you can see, with this rotated around fully, it's not facing, the slot's not facing downwards. It's quite a difficult one to actually solve, surprisingly, and it's all because there's so many different parts in here. To get all the threads to line up the way we want to can be quite hard. So we're just getting that worked out, but basically the slot will face down like that on the rod, and that's essentially kind of how it's going to look, but this will actually be powder coated green in this particular case for this order.